Hey, welcome to the asylum. Today, we're going to talk about how, like the title says, many professional wrestlers are criminals. And we're going to talk about that and maybe the psychology behind that because I find it really, really telling that there was so much criminal activity. It seems like these wrestlers all have a certain type of personality, or maybe once they join wrestling, they become that way. I don't know if it's because of drugs, steroids, a mixture of all of it. I suspect with some of these people, um, they're so used to like getting all this adoration, and they really think they're something, and so they think they can do whatever they want. Some of them, I think, have some mental problems. Not all of them, but it's a good many. It's too many based on my research. Now, I'm not going to include in this show the suicides, all the suicides. That's another show because there were a ton of suicides too. Um, and I know that there were some people, like Booker T, who were criminals before they joined wrestling, and wrestling kind of like reform them a little bit, but there's just way too many that have been involved in criminal activity, like now, like during this time period while they're in wrestling. Okay, now I'm going to save the obvious, which is Chris Benoit, for last. We'll save him for last. I just want to go through my list here of what I have. Oh, before I do that, let me tell you. Earlier today, I was bored and I wanted to put the TV on while I was painting my nails. I like to be entertained while I'm painting my nails. And so I was like, oh, there's Dean Ambrose. I'll just leave this on for a few minutes. But guess who has the fucking covered ruin it all, huh? And I'm scrambling for the remote to turn it the hell off. And he comes out all arrogant. I can't stand him. He comes out like the way he's there, he takes his hat off like I'm top shit. And he gets that smirk on his face, like, yeah, I'm the best. And he does this little bow that doesn't even look sincere. He just looks like an arrogant jock bully. That's his whole persona. That's what I get out of like the phony way that he looks whenever he enters. But I hurried up and I turned that off. See, you get a good thing and then he has to ruin it. So, so now they're trying to make it. I don't know if it came about, Christian. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it looked like they were setting up a fatal four-way involving uh, the same three, Roman, Seth, and Dean, but adding AJ Styles.
What?
AJ Styles got a big pop when he came out, but then the Village Idiot had to come out and ruin it. Um, Yeah. So at first I was thinking, oh, they're not going to have Roman because they're talking about like who the opponent's going to be, and Seth saying, I just want this to be one on one with Dean. But then Dean kind of said something that kind of led everybody to believe that Roman might be coming back. And I didn't tune in time to know what the explanation was for that they were giving on the show for Roman not being around, even though we know why. I highly doubt they said, oh, he's out because of a wellness thing. I doubt they said that. Um, but yeah, that's all I saw.
So there's not gonna be a rematch?
I don't know because I turned it off because of Cena.
Hmm.
I didn't even want to know if Cena was going to be a part of all that or whatever. I was like, screw this and got it off. But I just wanted to share that with you. And like I said, I don't even know if AJ Styles is going to be in a fatal four way. They were just talking about
Probably a five-way.
it.
No, no.
Maybe it could be a death match.
Hmm.
All right. Um, so let's first start about Kurt Angle. Let's start with that. Kurt Angle has had constant DUIs. Constant. Over and over and over again. So that's like substance abuse. He's an alcoholic, obviously.
Mhm.
He doesn't know that he's not supposed to get behind the wheel. Apparently, he doesn't care if he hurts anybody either. It's just, it must be party, party, party for him, and then drive. And the thing is that, he should be about to get his driver's license revoked with as many as he's had. And why would you want, this is what I don't understand. You're an athlete, supposedly. Is being an alcoholic and a drunk driver good for your career?
I mean, that's not good for anyone's career.
No. This goes along with, I think, wrestlers thinking that their crap doesn't stink and they can do whatever they want to do and they just don't care about anybody else. I really do think that some of these wrestlers think that they are gods because they're treated like Greek gods by the women and everything else, and they just think they're above it all. Well, you want to comment on that, Christian, before I go on to the next person?
Yeah, I would just say like Kurt Angle's not the only one. I mean, there might be others who got the same thing
Sure, but
with
he's
DUIs.
constant.
Yeah, I mean, come on, dude. Like you doing that a bunch of times, and you know what the outcomes are, and what kind of situations you will be, and what kind of, what kind of what's it called? Consequences that you're gonna get. I mean, he's not the only one. I mean, all these other people too. With this, just drinking and driving like the shit don't stink, and
I know.
it's just like, and then doing it as constantly as he does.
What if they kill someone? What if he kills someone? His career is going to be over. If he kills someone accidentally, manslaughter, he'll be in jail.
Yeah, which I'll make a point about the consequences, really, for after everything else that we say, like everything you cover, because it's pretty much says it for pretty much all the people on this list. But as far as Kurt goes, you need to get your shit straight, dude.
Yes. And then there's Jake Roberts, who got in trouble for cocaine possession. These wrestlers, I'm sure that Jake is not the only one that's had cocaine. I look at some of those wrestlers and I know that a horrible amount of them must be on drugs. But some of them get caught, and he's one of them for possession of cocaine. That probably contributed to his downfall too. Now I know that DDP has helped him, but
Yep.
he has cocaine possession on his record, and I doubt the WWE is going to bring him back in. But if they do bring him back in, like they did that one time they brought him, it was just for like that special. Remember way back when you put the snake on Dean?
Mm-hmm.
At least their saving grace is they didn't keep him around and make him a part of the show. But I just find it really, really annoying the way they pick and choose what's acceptable and what's not.
Right.
Like, to me, cocaine possession is bad, like racism is bad. How do you decide which one is worse?
I mean, to me, it's all in the same realm, if you ask me.
Well, racism isn't illegal, okay?
Yeah.
But cocaine possession is. So I think that they should be consistent and all across the board. not just the way they pick and choose.
I mean, a lot, a lot of these people who just have records and then they come back to the WWE like they didn't have shit going with for them, and there was nothing that they did wrong or whatever. Uh, and then also, Vince has his, issues with certain people and others not so much, but that's besides the point. But as far as Jake goes, I mean, come on, dude, don't make your life situation worse. You already been through enough. DDP's helped you through a lot. Like, the last thing you want to do for yourself and your family is to let them down and possibly kill yourself.
That's right. And then there's Jimmy Snuka,
Oh, I got something to say about him.
who supposedly is not in his right mind. A murderer. Okay, so we have a wrestler, a professional wrestler, who obviously, I'm sorry, but it's obvious, has become a murderer. And he did his murdering while he was in his heyday, while he was popular in the WWE. And Lord knows who helped him cover that up. I don't know why it's just coming about, recently. They just investigated him or whatever. But
Yeah.
so that's pretty sad. So they have murderers a lot of the times on their roster. He's not on their roster now, but he sure as hell was when he supposedly committed the murder. I don't know if you're familiar with this next person, okay? Dick Slater. He was on the roster a little bit after Jimmy Snuka. I mean, in the WWE. I mean, he was like in other wrestling federations. And he punched his wife and stabbed her with a butcher knife.
Oh.
She survived, okay? But, of course, he was jailed for that, and he has a record for that. And I'm like, what the hell? You want to talk about abuse?
Yeah.
Now, then there was Jose Gonzalez. Jose Gonzalez was a wrestler who killed wrestler Bruiser Brody, murdered him. And this was around the time that they were on the roster. Okay, Crimson recently from TNA.
Oh, no.
He got in trouble for domestic violence. See, there's a lot of domestic violence with these wrestlers. They can't just seem to control themselves, I don't care what the woman did. Especially if you're a professional wrestler, that you're stronger. You need to control yourself. Or you deserve what you get, and that is your career being over. Well, possibly. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Okay? If a woman's coming at you and is like really beating the shit out of you or something, defend yourself. But you know what? Remember, you're stronger. You're stronger and you have more force than the lady. So what you should do, it's one thing, just push her away. Just grab her, push her down on the couch. Grab her wrists and don't let go. But, beating the shit out of her, and I'm not even saying these women were guilty. They might have done something that you know what I mean? It might have just been out of nowhere or something stupid.
Yeah, and the really fucked up about it is he's not the only one.
Oh, no, there's tons. That's what I'm saying. A lot of these wrestlers, domestic violence. And a lot of the fans, they're behind domestic violence. They agree with it. You know what I mean? They don't like women, a lot of them. They can't stand women. And their attitude is like, well, if they think they're equal, we'll just beat them the way we'd beat another guy.
Oh yeah, I've heard, man. That whoever says you can go fuck yourself.
And you know what? I guarantee you they don't get much sex and they don't get many dates.
Oh no, they're WWE fans. What do you expect?
All right. There was a wrestler I'm not familiar with, but Hard Body Harrison. Have you heard of him?
No, no.
He kidnapped women and forced them into prostitution
Oh,
while he was a wrestler. Okay. Big Show. He exposed himself in a hotel.
I saw a picture of Big Show. You know how they took pictures in jail, and they have that. They're wearing the
Hot
jail
shots,
thing. Yeah,
hot shots.
yeah, I've seen him before. I was wondering what happened, but I guess that's why. But what? Okay.
And you know what? Even Ted DiBiase Jr., who seems so innocent, and his dad's all like into the Christian stuff,
Hmm.
he has a mugshot because he got picked up. He got arrested for DUI. You know who Ted DiBiase Jr. is, right?
Oh yeah, I know with Legacy and with Cody and Randy. Yeah,
Well, this Big Show thing, that's the least of these crimes that I've found out about. Okay,
yeah,
that's the very least. But he
yeah.
was probably drunk out of his mind. I guarantee you he was drunk out of his mind when he did it.
And he's still around. Yeah. But
Okay, now, New Jack. Have you heard of New Jack?
oh, I've heard stories of that motherfucker.
He has stabbed people. In fact, he's even stabbed people in the ring.
He's talked about it in the
And
interviews.
he said that whenever he feels like somebody botched or didn't do what they should do, he just stabs them.
What a fucking lunatic.
Now, I don't know. I mean, he's obviously not in wrestling anymore, right?
No, no. The only time I've seen New Jack nowadays is shoot interviews. That's pretty much it.
Because that's probably all he has because his career is over.
Hmm.
Because he's a criminal. All right. Buff Bagwell.
Hmm.
He assaulted a guy backstage. One of the workers.
Yeah.
He pushed him out of the way really hard onto the floor so that they hit their head. And I think he kicked him too. Ken Patera. A lot of the old school people will know who these guys are, some of these guys. Ken Patera. He wanted to get to McDonald's. McDonald's was closed. So he threw a boulder through the McDonald's window, and the cop that responded to it, Ken Patera assaulted him.
What the fuck?
Assaulted the police officer. Because McDonald's was closed.
What's wrong with these people?
So vandalism. They think they're gods. That's what it is. I said that before. They think they're above everyone else. Because of their strength, they're bullies. Either that or they can't control their drug habit. And that's what does this to them.
Yeah, well.
Okay. Johnny Grunge. He stole the WCW van. Juventud Guerrero. He was naked and screaming at a hotel high on PCP.
What the hell?
He's related to Eddie.
I know who he is.
Oh,
Yeah.
and he attacked the police officers when they arrived. Juventud. Okay.
Yeah.
Nick Gage. I know who he is because I've heard Dean Ambrose talk about him in promos, like back in CCW and all that.
Mm-hmm.
He robbed a bank.
Robbed a bank.
Yep, he robbed a dang bank. Okay, now, Matt Hardy. He was arrested as well as his wife, Reby, okay, because they had a brutal, bloody brawl out in public.
No, this I've heard of. Yeah.
William Regal. Oh my God. See, this is, you know what? These fucking pigs. William Regal peed on a flight attendant. If I would have been that flight attendant, man, first I would have kicked him in the balls to subdue him. And that's not me being a feminist. People don't have to take being pissed on.
Who would?
Okay. Jeff Hardy, drug trafficking and transport. Let me repeat that. It's not just possession. Jeff Hardy, drug trafficking and transport. I don't care how much you like Jeff Hardy. That is just unacceptable.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Oh, no, I know you're not. I'm saying that to the audience.
Oh.
Okay, so audience, even if you're a fan of his, really, let's not accept that. All right. Lex Luger, DUI and domestic abuse on Elizabeth.
Wow.
Now, these are only some things that I found. I know there's more. This list alone is disturbing. What do you think, Christian?
It's disturbing, it's fucked up, and it's weird.
Yep, it is bizarre. Stabbing people in the ring, all the domestic abuse, and it's bullshit. Oh, Stone Cold. Oh, wait, I'm not done. I skipped some people. Okay. Stone Cold, domestic violence.
Yep.
But I'm sure there's a lot of fans of his that would justify it. Ric Flair, exposing himself, and road rage. He was smashing into cars and then trying to get in a fight with the person that he ran off the road. Forgot those two. Lovely, huh?
Not really.
That was sarcasm.
I know.
You want to say something about it before I get to Chris Benoit? Because he's the grand finale of this list.
Okay. So here's what I'll say about with pretty much everybody really, but Jimmy Snuka in specific, because I just find it interesting how a lot of these people get into so much crap, and hearing about rumors of, oh, Kurt Angle's going back to WWE, he might not go back to WWE after all the stuff he's done. Jake Roberts and Snuka. For like Snuka, all of a sudden this year, or was it last year, gone from the Hall of Fame for something he did 30 years ago. Why wasn't he fired? Why wasn't he banned for good? What about all these other people? All these other people do some messed up crap and then they're back in the business. Whether it's a TNA stage or a WWE stage or any other stage, they're invited back. I mean, Jimmy Snuka came back many times in the WWE a few years back. Like, where was everybody when all this crap happened? And then for WWE, and I'm not defending Hogan by any means. So let me get this straight. You're going to remove Hulk Hogan from the WWE for a certain word that he said. He's banned. He's done for good. And you decided 30 years later to remove Snuka for something he did 30 years ago. If you're going to clean up the Hall of Fame for fucked up people, you might as well remove the whole fucking Hall of Fame altogether. You might as
I'm
well
all for it. Remove them.
You might as well remove the whole fucking ceremony, Hall of Fame conversations, or who's gonna be in the Hall of Fame. You might as well cross every single thing, every single person out. WWE is the most hypocritical business ever. You know, no way am I defending Hogan. Screw Hogan. Fuck him. And then for the rest of these people that still stay in the Hall of Fame, all these people that catch his name there right now, many of them are in the Hall of Fame at the moment. And then many of them come back like they never did crap. Like they never did anything criminal in their fucking lives.
I don't think anybody who's done criminal activity should be in any fucking Hall of Fame anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And I have no patience for the people who are like, well, that was the past and that has nothing to do with their talent. They should still be rewarded for their talent. Okay, well then get Chris Benoit in there then.
Boy, do I have a lot to say about him, but as far as
you can't say one person's okay and the other isn't. You know what I mean? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, what's that called?
Hypocrisy.
No, celebrity something syndrome. I forget. Bruce said it. Bruce said it one time. I forgot what it's called. Where people justify celebrities because how much of a fan they are of them. I forgot what it's called, but anyway, if you're gonna remove Hogan, remove everyone else too. You know, remove all these motherfuckers. All these criminals who do shit. You know, they always like, wow, these are the most fucked up athletes ever, man.
Oh, they are.
I mean, there are many, there's been other, athletes that have done fucked up shit, but wrestlers, the way they get away with it, wow. And with the fans too. I mean, I don't care the wrestling business, or any other sport. That's just what the fuck. That's not acceptable whatsoever.
There was a flight in 2002 back from an event that's overseas, and they booked the whole plane. Jim Ross even talks about it. He said that it was like a nightmare. It was the most horrific flight ever, and everybody acted like a bunch of animals.
The flight from hell story, right?
Yeah. All sorts of crap went on, Ric Flair exposed himself to a flight attendant. They were doing pranks and they cut off the hair of that racist guy. I mean, I'm all for this. They cut off the hair of that racist guy, Michael P.S. Hayes. I mean, I don't feel bad for that because he's a friggin' racist, but.
Which, by the way, the Freebirds Hall of Fame.
See? Yeah, exactly. But, we can't have China.
Oh, no.
We could have Sunny, though.
Right.
All right, well.
But anyway, Flight from Hell.
Yeah, the Flight from Hell. And then another thing that went on, there was a whole bunch of stuff. Like that was when Terry and Goldust had broken up. And he kept singing to her and trying to get her attention through the whole flight that Jim Ross had to tell him to lay off because he was so drunk the way he was doing it. Everybody was drunk out of their mind or like drugged. Um, what's his face? Scott Hall. He passed out. He was
Hmm.
like passed out through the whole flight because he was so high and drunk. Um, so this is their antics. This is the way they behave.
Scott Hall also murdered someone.
Did he really?
Yeah, he got in an altercation with somebody, and then I don't know if it was if it was an accident, but I've heard Scott Hall talk about the story about that too.
Well, then
That he
fuck
killed
him.
somebody. That he killed somebody. But
Should
he
be in the
comes
Hall
back,
of Fame then. Get him out of the fucking Hall of Fame.
right?
Is he in it?
He's in
um,
it. He's in it. Yeah.
then get him the fuck out. Get him out of there. And if he murdered somebody, I don't feel sorry for him if it's true what he said about Vince anally raping him or whatever. I do not feel sorry. They think that they are above the law. Either that or they're so fucked up that they don't even know what's real and what isn't, and they cannot control themselves. I mean, it's like that rock star syndrome. I bet you it's just like rock stars. You know how rock stars, they have their concert and then they go and party their asses off and
Yeah.
fuck every woman in sight, um, and then they have to get up the next day and practice or whatever, and still be up to perform that evening. They just get all fucked up,
Yeah.
and that's like these wrestlers. They go, they do their wrestling, and then after the show, they go and get fucked up. And then they become addicted.
Yeah. That's how it is. I mean, it's just so weird how many people are like as fucked up as like a bunch of them in the wrestling business are like, what the fuck?
And we're going to find, I mean, you know what? How much you want to bake a bet? There's more behind the scenes that we don't even know about.
Oh, it probably is. So I'm sure, you know, in the time there were a bunch of the N word was thrown around a lot, and a lot of racist shit was thrown around, and a bunch of fights going on, and a lot of abuse and stuff like that. I'm sure there's a lot more,
And
especially back then.
so, the thing is, I mean, really, it is infuriating. Freebird's racist. They're okay, but Hulk Hogan isn't. They're both Hulk Hogan and the Freebird guy should be just out of the picture.
Yeah, you might want to get Trump out of there too, by the way.
Yeah, get him the hell out of there. And Chris Benoit, he's not on it, so Jimmy Snuka should be taken the hell out.
Until, people talk about it, okay, now we're gonna get him off. Like, no, no. Like that does not you got other people on there that have done fucked up shit as well, so get rid of the whole damn thing. That's bullshit.
And then you've got this guy, Pat Patterson,
Oh gosh.
that many wrestlers have said that not only has he done stuff with children, okay, but he's raped some of the damn wrestlers, or at least forced them, okay, by blackmail into that
Hmm.
crap. But oh, he's floating around.
Hmm. Sure, Vince McMahon's done a lot of that shit too himself. Junior.
This is the world we live in, where depending who you are, you can get away with things.
Yeah, of
Um,
course Vince has his favorites too.
oh yeah, I'm sure he does. You could tell. I mean, look at the way he acts when he sees somebody muscular.
Hmm. Well, you forgot one more on the list too. I mean, we've talked about him on video, like I think on our last Asylum show, but Jerry Lawler.
Yep. You know what though? That's new. That domestic abuse thing.
Yeah.
Because you know what happened with the Adam Rose? His wife decided not to press charges. That could have been two situations. That could have been one where, you know, she was angry and to get back at him, she let him be arrested. And she knew she was wrong, so she didn't press charges. She just wanted him to sweat it out a little bit.
Hmm.
Of course, she probably ruined his career in the process, or he really did abuse her, and she's one of them women that can forgive her abuser. So that might be the case maybe with Jerry Lawler, because Jerry Lawler has a pretty clean record, but then again, that doesn't mean he hasn't done it before.
Right.
We don't know yet if he was convicted of that or the person didn't press charges. But he very well could end up added to the list.
Yeah, that's just
The fact that they're even accused of it, though, is enough. You know what I mean? All these wrestlers accused of domestic abuse, there has to be something to that.
it's too much of it, man. Even from the old farts too. I mean, like wow.
Well, let's address the elephant in the room, Chris Benoit.
Hmm.
Look at what happened with him. I have heard so many different theories. What theories have you heard, Christian?
Oh well, some people came up with stupid ones, like Kevin Sullivan killed the family and whatever the fuck. Um, but the one I've heard the most was, you know, Benoit. You know, he just just well, first off, I've heard about his wife talking about how he, you know, he was like taking too much care of her, like kind of being like a little obsessive or like a little controlling.
When she say this?
I don't know if it was an interview or it was some wrestler or somebody that's talked about her wife telling stories about him just being like a little weird and just being like controlling and whatnot. I don't know if it had to do with the drugs he was taking or whatnot, but it could just be his personality. Who knows? Um, but him, you know, just killing her and his kid, and then others are saying like people are just coming up with the stupidest crap ever, like some like Kevin Sullivan or whatever, or Chris Benoit. You know, he was just overdosed and killed him. He was brain fucked and just killed him. That's pretty much not much from my side.
See, I heard that back then, when he was in it, and even before then, drugs were prevalent backstage. They passed
Yeah.
around the drugs like there was no tomorrow.
Hmm.
And, drugs could have fucked him up
Very
and
could have been.
fucked him up into murder. See, these tightly wound wrestlers, I mean, wrestlers kind of look crazy after reading this list, don't they?
Yeah. That's just like it just feels weird even talking about it,
Well,
especially when there's so many people that are in this list.
He's like, so like I said, we've got murderers, rapists, kidnappers, robbers. I didn't include Booker T, by the way, on the list because he did that beforehand.
Yeah, MVP did too. So
But yeah. So you got to wonder what causes all these people in one place to just like be batshit crazy or just go berserk. It has to be drugs, right? Or steroids. I mean, I don't know.
yeah, because on the other hand, you know, about his wife talking about Chris, but the people who from the wrestling business that knew him and actually visited his family, like Chris like loved him a lot, but at the same time, when the wrestlers are not there at his home, like Eddie Guerrero and or Chavo and Jericho, Brett, all these other guys that were close to Benoit, he might have looked like he loved them a lot and he wouldn't do no harm to anybody. And he was a professional, in the business and whatnot. Took it really seriously, and at the same time, he was taking some drugs, and who knows how Benoit was when these other wrestlers that were there are not there. He could have been like what his wife apparently said about him being obsessive and kind of weird and crazy in a way.
So I don't know because I've also heard this theory that he had mental problems, like you're describing. I didn't know
Hmm.
about that interview, but I had heard that he had mental problems. And then the theory is that all the drugs that he took that they gave him, plus all the substances he felt he needed to take, just interacted with what was already wrong with him and made it worse.
Right.
Because it sounds to me like he just got extremely paranoid from the things that I've heard.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's a shame. So I really do feel like they need to take their wellness policy a little bit more seriously. They need to have counseling programs that these wrestlers have to go to if they want to be a part of the WWE. I
Yeah,
mean,
because in one week, like, or in one day or whatever, oh, they caused this fucking BS. Whether it's DUI or domestic abuse or whatever the fuck, and then all of a sudden they're just back like they never did shit.
yeah.
It's like, what? That's it? Like, okay, they go through their thing or whatever, and then they're just back. Vince don't give no fucks, man.
Unless it's going
It,
to affect him.
right. These people give no fucks. Obviously he didn't give no fucks back in the day with all these nut jobs going around killing people and throwing shit in the McDonald's uh, window and peeing on flight attendants and exposing themselves. What kind of business is this?
It's a bunch of animals. It's like a zoo. And you know what? Don't forget, Jack Swagger had been arrested for substance, for having a
Right.
substance.
Before WrestleMania.
Yeah. And
Like,
Cameron's been arrested, I don't know how many times.
no.
DUI, bribery. So, and look at how many times, Sunny had DUI even while she was in the WWE. I think that as soon as a wrestler gets picked up for DUI, substance abuse, or domestic abuse, if they insist on keeping them, personally, I think a lot of these cases they should just be fired. But if they insist on keeping them, they immediately should be put into a psychiatric program with a psychiatrist or a psychologist, someone that they can talk to, and someone that can help them deal with stuff without being a jackass.
Not kidding. It's like people in the business don't even give a fuck.
Nope.
It just happens so often.
Why should they care? They're businessmen. It's a business.
Oh yeah, until they get caught with when it's somebody as big as Hulk Hogan coming out there, and since he's such a mainstream star, and until something really big of a star as he is goes out and says something controversial, then they start to care. But since since wrestling is so dead now, and all these DUIs that nobody really talks about in the news, mainstream wise or whatever the fuck, it's they it's just another day in the office.
Well, I
Just
find this to be sad. And what's
right.
even sadder is another show that I want to do if you're interested is all the damn suicides of wrestling.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's even sadder. Oh my gosh. I would like to talk about that. So um, that'll be another show.
Yep. It's
Well,
really bad. Yeah.
unless
Yeah.
you,
But, go ahead.
no, go ahead, Christian.
Yeah. And by the way, as much of a fan as I was of Chris Benoit, first off, me being a little kid and hearing about that was really disappointing to me because he was one of the guys I've looked up to as I was as a little kid, along with Eddie Guerrero and all of them. That really hit home with me as a kid, especially when you're like as young as I was back then. I'm only 20 now, and just hearing that from back then was like very heartbreaking. Um, I like to people who say, "Oh, I don't care what he did. His career should still be celebrated." No, I don't care how much of a great wrestler he was. Was he a great wrestler? Hell yeah. Has he had a great career? Hell yeah. But come on, man. Like all these tribute videos on Facebook. Like a few days ago, the anniversary of Benoit's death. Like there was a bunch of posts about, oh, he was a great wrestler. I mean, he was, and then celebrating his fucking career and making tribute videos, and
What about
it.
the tribute videos for his wife who was in wrestling?
Oh no, there was none of that. There was none of that. No, maybe some, but no, it's just Chris Benoit because he was a great technical wrestler, which he was, but at the same time, I mean that's
Just
just
like
weird.
Conor McGregor.
It's fucked. It's weird. And the fans, man, like you said before about the women, getting, oh, like, oh, I love it. It's like, wow, you must really have a fucked up mind. But I mean, I don't know. That's just me. That just feels weird after knowing about what happened and hearing about it when I was younger, and then just seeing some posts on Facebook about Chris Benoit. It's weird, it's bizarre, and it's fucked up.
It is. But you know as well as I do that people will justify anything of somebody they worship.
That is true. I don't care because he was a great professional wrestler. Get the fuck out of here.
Even that whole
Yeah.
Chris Brown Rihanna thing. People were going on about how Chris Brown is so talented and it's stupid that people are, having a negative reaction of him towards something that has nothing to do with his music. I'm like, You know, fuck that. Rihanna's more talented than Chris Brown anyway.
Hmm. Yeah, especially all the girls that were fucking defending his ass.
Because they're hoping that he'll fuck them.
It's
So they'll
true.
defend him.
Yeah, Justin Bieber as well.
Good God. Ugh. Well, oh, I know. And you know what else too? Like there are lots of criminals in jail that like women write to them and stuff, and you know, like them because they're cute or whatever. How stupid. Well, listen, unless you have anything else you would like to add, I'm going to end this show.
Um, I just wish that more people would be like us, meaning like looking through all the bullshit of wrestlers of how great they were as a good wrestler or a good entertainer, and like none of that shit should be overlooked because of how talented they were. I just don't condone that whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't either.
So I mean, to those of you who that go out there and say it doesn't matter or it was in the past or they're talented, whatever, like no, especially with Chris Benoit, especially.
Okay, well, thank you for coming to watch our show and maybe check out our next show on all the suicides. Have a great evening. Bye bye.
Peace.